Welcome to Be On It. This is our episode of self-development. I'm Jessica.
Hey, this is Debbie. So now, Jessica, what's going on in the Beehive today?
I was just thinking about fears, different types of fears that I've had personally, like irrational fears, fear of failure, fear of change, fear of judgment. Have you ever had anything that you were fearful of?
I'm trying to replace it with a different word. I feel like I've put a lot of limitations on myself that come from the fear that I've had in the past. Like, I have a real big fear of failure.
Yeah.
And so because of that, I'm not willing to try things because I'm afraid I won't be successful, or I won't do well, or I will turn a situation bad. And so there's a lot of self-doubt in that fear as well.
But Debbie, don't you agree that sometimes, like, when you push yourself to try something, even if you fail, you're not really failing because you learn something from it. When I try, like, I have interest and I try things and I'm like, okay, like for instance, when I decided I wanted to do this sales position that I wanted to try out, and I was like, okay, I'm going to go full force. I'm going to give it a try. Even though I kind of knew that I wasn't a great salesperson, that wasn't really my jam, I was going to give it a try because I had all these tools and things and I had support, and I learned that that wasn't for me over time. But what I took away was a good business sense. Even though that aspect great for me, I learned business stuff. So I don't consider it a fail.
I mean, you definitely got out of your comfort zone, though, wouldn't you say?
Oh, I definitely pushed myself out of my comfort zone.
How did you do that?
I had to fake it till I make it. I just had to put myself out there because I had product to sell that I had already purchased with my own money.
Yeah.
And I knew that if I didn't sell some of this stuff, that there was this guilt that I was going to be affecting my family somehow, that money could have been spent on something better. So I knew that I had to do my best to try to sell things and not come off as pushy, because no one likes a pushy salesperson. But I approached it from a way of really connecting with other women. And if you need something, let me know. And offering different like fun parties and activities and things like that to join other women together. Like, hey, if you want something, that's cool. If you don't, I just enjoyed our experience. And so I just made it more fun, but that's not always how sales work. You have to make a monthly income, right? That's what your income's dependent upon. So I just learned that wasn't for me. I learned that I like having a company I work for that I know I'm getting an instant income. Like that. I like that as my foundation. And then if I want to like branch off and have like a second thing, that's great too. I just kind of learned that about myself. But yeah, you definitely have to push yourself and put yourself out there. Like, I'm shy and I'm not always outgoing unless I know people really well. So in this aspect, I had to be extra outgoing, which isn't my natural talent.
Right. I mean, I feel like being a salesperson is a very extroverted position where you would have to be the one who would be starting the dialogue, and then you would have to sell your product. I don't know how you did that. I mean, the motivation was there because you had the product that you had to sell, but then also maybe you believed in the product too.
I believed in the product and I believed in connecting with other women. And I think that's what motivated me. I so wanted to connect with other, like, kids were going off to college and I just was feeling like this transition for some sort of like change and a way to be creative. And I saw this as a fun way to be creative. Did it work out in the end? No, but I'm so glad that I tried it. I had to let fear go in that aspect and just trust the process and just learn that you can do anything you set your mind to. I just learned that sales weren't for me, and that's okay. Trying something new, and then I like figured out something else that I might enjoy. You keep moving forward is what you do. It's like if I had fears and I let that like stop me from trying something else that I might be wanting to try, then I would never move or grow in any aspect in life.
I mean, I think it's really cool that you even put yourself out there and tried something new, because that is a huge fear of mine, like fear of the unknown. And I think that just has been in my DNA since I was a child, and just not feeling confident. And so when I don't feel confident in certain things, I will not try. I just feel like it's been programmed in my brain. And so I'm here at this moment in time in my mid 40s, and I want to break out of that. I want to stop living in a mindset of being fearful to do something that I haven't done before, taking everything that I have in my past experience, the wisdom that I've learned thus far, and take all of that with me to equip me to overcome a challenge, because anything new is going to be challenging. I mean, let's face it, anything new that you haven't done before and you don't know how the outcome is going to be challenging.
That's so true. I find myself, I used to catastrophizing, or what I like to call it, the what ifs. I had to stop those thoughts because it was like this fear of like the unknown. Those are not things that I can control. And so I just had to stop doing that and like try it anyway.
Yeah.
It's not going to hurt anything to try something and discover that yes, you loved it, or no, you didn't.
Right. And it's not like, I mean, I call the catastrophizing a thinking trap, because it's all mental. You're bringing all this negativity and fear to something that actually hasn't happened yet. It's a hypothetical, but you're almost kind of foretelling what the future is in a negative way.
Right.
And then that feeds into your sense of fear, and then it kind of immobilizes you.
It's so true. I, for me personally, I really had to stop giving power to negative self-talk and focus on the positives, because it's so easy to say, what if? Well, that's limiting. It just holds you back. And I'm just reaching a point in my late 40s that I don't want to be held back by like restrictions. I want to try things, and, you know, maybe it stems from like not getting to do the things as a child. I didn't get to try things out. And so I'm kind of now doing that as an adult, discovering like hobbies and different things that I like to do, or even career wise. I couldn't make a decision. And so I went with healthcare. And was that the best decision at the time? Yeah, it was. It paid the bills, but I wouldn't say that it allowed me to be creative in the way that I now need. So I had to re-examine like career changes. I could still have my safety net of healthcare, but like, what are other things that I can do that, you know, can bring in a second income if I want and still be creative? So I had to kind of really think long and hard what that looked like. And it's been trial and errors and trying different things. And I tried one thing that didn't work out. That's okay. Life is about experimenting and figuring things out. If you didn't get to do it as a kid, you're going to do it as an adult.
Right. I think that one word that you said, when I really examine my fears, I think that the word limitation or limiting myself is what it really boils down to. Because if I'm not going to do something out of that fear, I'm actually myself off. I'm limiting myself from the opportunities that I could be pursuing. For instance, I'm not a real big physical person. I have never really done contact sports or anything as a child. So now I really see the value of learning how to self-defend myself. And so I'm looking into doing maybe some jujitsu.
Well, that's exciting.
Which is very totally like, it's like fear, and then it's definitely out of my comfort zone. I think I would be the most inexperienced person out on that mat. But that's okay. I'm okay with that and I want to try something new, and I know it's going to be hard and challenging, but I see the lifelong skills that I can gain from that, which would be self-defense. You're challenging your mind. That's another thing. Like if I challenge myself physically, and that could be jujitsu for me, it could be working out more and trying different workout techniques. I'm challenging myself physically, but also I'm challenging myself mentally.
Yeah.
And that is huge.
That is a big deal. It's like we never stop growing, and it's like mental toughness is so important. It's like what I'd like to say is put your big girl panties on, because sometimes we don't want to do things and you have to just be tough and do it anyway. You have to. Otherwise, especially when you want change. I think when you want change, if you don't do anything, nothing's going to happen. So you have to do something. And for me, I had to do one little thing different.
Okay.
And so I started with one little step.
Yeah.
And then I went on to the next step. If you have to do it in one little step, minute by minute, hour by hour, you do what you have to do until it becomes a bigger change over time. Not everybody wants change, but if you do, these are some things that have personally helped me, and it sounds like they've helped you too. Not everybody has that same opportunity, but you always have the opportunity to do something different.
Absolutely.
As an adult.
Yeah. I think that at this age, even if you have to pivot career-wise, you can do that. You can do that.
Yeah.
You know, you can, but you might have to juggle a second job for a moment until that position grows to a level that is secure, that feels secure, but it takes work. It does take work to put yourself out there and to overcome your fears. It's not something that just is going to come to you, wouldn't you say? You have to work for it.
Definitely. And I feel like whenever I'm getting like self-doubt or I'm getting stressed out or anxious, I feel like I've like created some techniques that really help me.
Okay, well, like what?
Like for instance, I do some deep breaths. I just like breathe in and I breathe out. And then whenever I feel like I'm getting negative thoughts, I think of my thoughts, good, bad, all of the thoughts I put on a conveyor belt. And I can choose to pick up negative thoughts, or I can choose to leave them and let them go by on the conveyor belt. So for me personally, I had to stop choosing to focus on the negative and grab the positive thoughts and focus just on that. Breathing, talking things out, processing, all those normal things are like help us to like move forward. And when you're feeling anxious, I think it's because something's about to change in your life, right? Or like you're feeling anxious because it's different. And so I think that's healthy. What are some things that, that work for you?
Well, I agree that the breathing is helpful too. I do like a breath 1, 2, 3, 4 in, and then I try to exhale for 8 seconds. So I do in for 4, out for 8. And that kind of brings my heart rate down and keeps me a little more calm in situations. But I think for me, I have realized the power of the pause. So for me, being able to pause and process empowers me. That way I can think about what the situation is, and then I assess everything that I have, like all the skills I have, the resources that I can tap into, and then move forward with that next thing that seems fearful. Because there are so many things. I mean, you could be in your job, your current job, and there could be aspects of your job that you don't feel quite competent in or proficient in, and that feels fearful. That creates anxiety and self-doubt.
Yeah.
So my thing is, I'm not going to feed into the self-doubt anymore because there's no growth in that. If you want to maintain the status quo, then you can feed into the self-doubt and the anxiety. But if you are aiming to achieve growth, then you definitely need to overcome the fear. Overcome the fear and the self-doubt, and just realize this is a mental challenge and you can overcome this as well.
I totally agree with you. And that's the best advice I can give when you're going through all that stuff. It's never comfortable. Change is not comfortable, and it's not meant to be, because it's what's going to keep you focused on moving forward in life. If you're comfortable, then you're going to stay exactly as is. But if you're wanting to make something different, you gotta do something different.
And comfortable does feel good. Comfortable feels great, but it's not getting you anywhere. Feeling that uneasiness because you're trying something new, we should embrace that. We can embrace that feeling. And I'm not saying try things that are going to negatively affect you. No, I'm saying think about your goals that you have yet to achieve and think about why you have not achieved them. Embrace the anxiety and the fear that goes along with that, because that indicates growth. When I think about the word change, have you seen that symbol for change? It's a triangle.
Yes.
I was journaling one day and I thought about, okay, so this triangle indicates change. Picture this with me, the triangle, and it is pointing to something at the top because the base is on the bottom and it's pointing to something at the top, correct?
Right.
So when I think about change, I think about that triangle. So it's like focusing my energy for one goal, which is that thing on the top. And then I think about, well, the triangle's empty, right? When you draw a triangle, it's empty. Well, I'm going to fill it in with self-discipline. So it's like this mental programming saying, I'm going to do this. I want to work on this podcast. That's my goal. I want to achieve a change. So I'm going to make sure that I stay self-disciplined, because the triangle to me has to be filled. So the feeling of the triangle is the self-discipline. Maybe if I'm wanting to write a book, I'm going to sit down at the computer and write 100 words every day. So I'm going to put myself in a place so that I can work little by little towards this goal, and I can overcome my fear at the same time. Because let's not limit ourselves. We are such dynamic people. We are capable of this. We can do well in multiple things, not just one thing in our lives.
I agree.
Yeah.
And you know what? If you feel like your silly little goal is not important, it's important to you. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what the goal is. Or if you feel like, I don't have goals. Everybody has goals. Maybe your goal is talking to that new person that showed up in class and making a new friend, but that's not comfortable and you're fearful for, rejection. we'll just do one little thing. Like you compliment them, or wonder if you want to try for this new job position, but you're scared you might not get it because there's competition. Well, do your research and, put yourself in the best position. So ask people, like, have people, don't be afraid to ask people for help too. Because I've been guilty of that, of not asking for help. I can do it myself mentality. And that got me nowhere. But people are invested in like helping you.
Yeah.
People want to help each other. That's how we learn from one another. So it's like, use your community to help you achieve your goals too.
So you have to be vulnerable though to ask for help.
You really do. And that's not easy for some of us, You're putting yourself out there. That's not comfortable, and that's fear of rejection and judgment. You just have to let that go, because whoever's supposed to be in your life will be in your life, and whoever isn't supposed to be in life doesn't need to be there.
And another thing, when I'm thinking about talking about being vulnerable, just think of it as you're kind of exposing a certain part of yourself that maybe you had hidden.
Right.
So just think of it as letting this other person who cares, and can you help me? So think of it that way, because vulnerability can be an obstacle for people. I am a big supporter of vulnerability, but just think of it as you're exposing a little bit about yourself that person didn't otherwise know, and asking for help. Nothing wrong with that.
No, not at all. Any other techniques that, have helped you, or is there any other like fears that you've like experienced, and how did you overcome it?
You know what? It's just like you live with it, that you don't realize it's a fear.
Yeah.
You live with this fear and this limitation that you put on yourself. In my case, it was self-imposed, but things factor into your concept of yourself. And so I just feel like I've been living in it for so long that I didn't really even think that I should look into it. But then again, things happen in your life, and then you're realizing, hey, I gotta get out of my comfort zone. It's not okay to always be in my comfort zone, because I'm not going to be a better version of myself until I get out of it. And so that's what I've been realizing these days.
Just finding awareness, or because there's things that I wasn't aware of or that I needed to overcome throughout my life. I didn't realize that until much later, and when I reflect back. And so it's like, it's okay if you don't discover that right away about yourself. I think it's just like being in tune with what feels good and how you want to push yourself and set your goals, and what does that look like? What do you have to do to achieve that? We'll kind of bring all those awarenesses out, and then you kind of fix those little things so that you can ultimately achieve your goals. So I think you're right. That triangle is a really good illustration in my mind. Your goal is to get to the top. That's your finish line. You start at the bottom and you work your way to the top.
Yeah.
And, little by little, you do what you have to do to get there. And you ask for help. No one says you can't ask for help to get to the top. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that at all.
In fact, you need help.
You need help. We need each other.
Exactly. And that's the community that you build as well. You rely on the community that you build. If you don't have one, start making one.
Start making one. Exactly. My gosh, this was such a good topic. You guys really like what we're all about. I would love for you guys to join us next time on our episode 3 when we discuss finding a creative outlet.
Join us next time.
And just so you know, we are just speaking from our lived experiences and are not licensed therapists. And here are the bloopers.
Hi, I'm Jessica. Welcome to our first episode. Oh my gosh. Good morning. Oh my. I just ruined it.
It's fine.